Hasta que no estás aquí dentro no sabes la grandeza de este equipo.
Quero o Benfica intimidar o adversário. Quero um manto sagrado entrar com vocês em qualquer estádio e assustá-los, pá! É isso que eu quero!
Falta.
E o árbitro a dizer que é livre, pode ser o último lance para o Benfica. Livre a beneficiar a equipa encarnada, não muito longe da área. Vai toda a gente lá para a frente. O Trubin pede autorização para subir. A luz está em ebulição. Vamos ver. É agora ou nunca. É o Benfica a tentar marcar nos instantes finais. Acredita o Benfica.
Real com -2.
Aí está o Trubin também a subir. Benfica 3, Real Madrid 2. A bola vai ser lançada. A luz está pronta para explodir. O árbitro David Massa vai apitar. Alves vai bater o livre. Ele vai. Levantou na área. Cabeceamento. Gol! Trubin! É por isto que o futebol é tão espetacular. É gol do Benfica. Alá, Benfica.
Acabou o jogo, já acabou.
Alá, Benfica. Passado, presente, glória, tudo num golo, acabou, o Benfica está apurado, mas eu vou gritar, ó gol, gol! Nunca há que deixar de acreditar, enquanto há jogo, Trubin, que noite europeia, a história a ser escrita, Estádio da Luz, onde a história pesa e o apoio faz eco, a chama da Liga dos Campeões a arder no coração dos benfiquistas, a esta hora, no mundo, o coração dos benfiquistas a bater forte, a Europa conhece este símbolo. E claro, o branco não apagou o vermelhão, Walter. Benfica apurado para a próxima fase da Liga dos Campeões. Que noite mágica!
What's going on, everybody? Dave, here we are.
Goosebumps, Alfredo, listening to that. Goosebumps.
Bro, fuck. And this is the shit, man. This is the shit that keeps us coming back. This is why we love the club. This is why we are Benfiquistas. This is why we never give up. This is why, despite all the therapy sessions and all the misery and everything that we go through, that this club makes us go through, this is the reason why. This is the reason why. And Dave, and I don't know if you've ever played golf, or I know that Diogo has played golf, but you stink it up the whole 16 holes and then you hit that one shot and then it just makes you come back for more. It's exactly like that. That's a feeling. That's a feeling. But yeah, here we are, another night, another podcast. Hopefully this one will be happy. I know it'll be happy, right? Because we need these.
If we can't be happy after tonight, I don't know if we could ever be happy. You could never experience a happy emotion. But you know what? You hit it right on the head there, Alfredo. You know, for every get a bag, for every Basel 5-0 defeats, we got these Champions League nights like we had tonight against Real Madrid at home. So you got to savor these moments. Unfortunately, they don't come along too often, but
no,
when they do, like you said, these nights are the nights that really make us fall in love with the club again.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you all the Freddies for joining us tonight. It's a happy one. Should be happy that you're here with us, and on the heels of two wins, and especially this win. And I'll be honest, and if you guys heard me on the podcast, I said it's almost impossible for Benfica to make it into the next round, understanding that the Benfica needed a win, number one. And then there was a combination of results that needed, like, I don't know, there was like 5 or 6 or 7 games that kind of needed to turn up for us. And then even after the win, there was the one goal. If we needed one more, we needed one more goal to get it. And the thing is that I'm watching the game, right? And then there's that one, and I don't know how close you were following it, Dave, but there's that one moment that Trubin has the ball, and apparently Ivanovic makes a run and he's by himself, and Trubin didn't see it, and he didn't hit the ball, and I was like, that was our fucking
I was motherfucking Trubin.
And he got whistled too. He got whistled.
So, lucky to see that he redeems himself 2 minutes later, but yeah, I was giving him the old motherfucker.
He got whistled, and even on a post conference, he said that he saw Araujo and somebody else showing him the finger, but he had no idea. And then he kind of, and then there was that opportunity. He looked to the bench, and Mourinho said he could go, and then he goes up, and then that's when he fucking realized what he had just done. But fucking epic, like the title of this podcast. And I think between this game, right, and obviously as Benfiquistas, also the game against Estrela and seeing the scenes also there by the two young kids, right? So 2 kids that were world champs for Portugal, the under 17 and Qatar just a few months ago, and as they came to Stade de Luge after returning from the championship, they're walking around the Stade de Luge. Just Stade de Luge is empty, but they have their medals on and walking around Stade de Luge. And I, one of them says, and I forget which one it was. In this video, Benfica has posted this video, but one of them, and it's Anísio says to Benjaki, who is a starter in that game, imagine scoring a goal here and you passing me the ball and me scoring, and then that shit happening is just like it's magic, right? And we often talk about just say Charles and kids and watching these kids and hoping that the club can keep these kids and this and that, and I think as Benfiquistas and as we're young kids playing in a backyard or in a playground, and where our passion is playing soccer, and a lot of us have dreams of playing for a team until we actually realize that we're not that gifted in talent to play professionally, right? But still, I mean, there's you play with your friends, and you're this guy, you're that guy, and you kind of emulate your idols. And I think it was a bit of that type of feeling that I got, and as these kids really kind of live out their dreams, a dream that many Benfiquistas wish they could have had. But Dave, how are you, my friend?
I'm fantastic. How are you, Alfred? How are you feeling? How are all the Freddies? The Freddies are active in the chat already, you know.
Yeah.
Usually they're active like this when it's on the other side, when it's a negative therapy session. But like I said, we got to celebrate these nights. They don't come too often, so when they do, we're all here together.
Yeah, I think that look, that there's been a lot of misery, and I think that we're still in for quite a bit of misery through the end of the season, right? Because of the inconsistency of the team, and obviously, look, playing against Real Madrid, Jose Mourinho doesn't really have to have a motivating speech. He just has to make sure that the players are focused on what they're supposed to be doing. I think if you don't get motivated to play the Champions League, if you don't get motivated to listen to the Champions League anthem, I mean, then you shouldn't be playing professionally, right? but yeah, look, it's one of those games that we're going to remember for a very long time. Not only beating Real Madrid, but the way we beat them. Um, so I don't know. It's just it's something that certainly we have to celebrate, as Dave mentioned, as there's been a lot of frustration, especially from our end. And I tell you guys this, and I've told Dave and Chris many times. And Chris is not here. I think he'll be here next week. But I've told Dave and Chris many times that sometimes finding the motivation to come in and talk about misery and to have these frustrations that you got to talk about the team and these results and this and that and sometimes it's a little bit frustrating and it's almost like you would just want to say fuck all of this and not do podcasts, but you can't be a fair weather fan. You have to kind of show up on sunny days and on the rainy days. That's how you do it. I mean, this podcast has been around for 13 almost 14 years, and that's the way I've wanted this podcast. And trust me, throughout those 13 14 years there's been a lot of seasons of misery. There's been a lot of seasons of triumph, of glorious and of feeling good about this team and identifying with this team. And like Dave said, I know it's going to be a long season. We still got a lot. But certainly I think this is going to be the highlight of the season, if not the past few years. And I think that people are going to remember this game. And the people that are at the stadium and witnessing this, I envy them quite a bit. But yeah, thanks again, Freddy's. If you haven't hit the like button, subscribe, please do that. Appreciate that as always. Let's get the show on the road, right? We played Estrela and Real over the weekend. And I'll give you the lineup. We'll get going. Truban was in goal. Benjaki, so a debut, 17-year-old right back, was started for Benfica. Antonio Silva, Otamendi and Dal. Barrenetxe and Auschness in the middle. Persian and Sidney Cabral on the wings. Sudakov underneath Pavlidis. And they've kind of bit of a subdued for first half, dominating the game, but not really doing much. But yeah, we ended up getting a go-ahead goal at the end of the first half. Pavlidis off of Sidney Cabral, and I think that there's a lot of people talking about Sidney Cabral, right? What he's injected in this team, and how have you seen the emergence of Sidney Cabral, Dave?
I like him. I think it's still short sample size, but he brings something to this squad that we were lacking, especially the first half of the season, right? We really didn't have any wing play or wingers per se. We might have had wingers, but Mourinho wasn't utilizing them to play as wingers with that vertical pace. And I like what I'm seeing from Sidney Cabral so far. And that header from Pavlidis on that goal, for a guy that scores a lot of goals, most of them coming from the PK spot, mind you, but he doesn't score too many of those headers. And that one, I'm not mistaken, hit the bottom of the crossbar and came down, or was close to a bar down. And it was good to see Pavlidis with that header, because it's not something that we're used to seeing him score with the head like that.
Yeah, and it's almost like he got something for the crossbar, because his penalty also hit the crossbar. And you're right, you don't see a lot of headers from Pavlidis, but that was quite a header. Second half, Barreiro came in for Barrenetxe, and then the goals just poured in, and obviously, we never want to take anything away from the teams, but we also have to understand the teams that we're playing against and what the context is, right? So Estrela and Real, I think, 10th or 11th place. It's not really their championship to play against Benfica, but look, we barely beat them last round at their stadium, 1-0. I think they've lost Sidney Cabral, who was their best scorer. Obviously, they lost another player or so, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah. But it's a team that's not in. It's in our league, but if you guys could picture, they're not in our league. But a good win.
But these were the teams we were slipping up against too in the first half of the season, right? So yeah, for sure, on paper and historically, these are teams that shouldn't even be on the same pitch as the Benfica. But these were the teams that we were dropping points to and losing ground, right? We were 10 points behind the leaders currently, right? So
yeah,
I get what you're saying, but 4-0 result is nothing to be upset about, especially what we've been seeing from the club so far, especially at home too. It seems like we dropped a lot of our points in the first half of the season at home. I think we didn't drop any points outside of Porto, the 0-0 draw. There might have been another one there too, but a lot of the points we dropped this season have been at the Estadio de Luz. You never want to be dropping points at home either. So good result by the boys here.
Right. Yeah, but these are the type of results that you that you expect, right?
1000%.
And Chris, if Chris was here, these were the results that we were used to in the 80s and the better part of the 90s, right? It's like Estrela da Amadora, 3-0, 4-0, 5-0. These other teams. What's abnormal is just squeaking by or scoring one goal and then holding on for dear life in the last moments of the game, where Trubin is getting a yellow card because he's burning up time. That's the anomaly. That's the type of shit that you shouldn't be used to. Type of shit that you should be used to and you should consider completely normal is the 4-0 shellacking of some of these teams that, first of all, have no business in competing with us, right? But yeah, before nothing, and then Pavlidis with the PK in the 55th minute, so that kind of put the game away for good, and not that Estrela was doing much. 58th minute, Cabral got on a score sheet himself. Then we had some substitutions. Sheldrew, Diogo Priost, and Antonio Silva came in for Prestiano, Auschness, and Sudakov, and then Anísio Cabral came in the 83rd minute for Pavlidis, and a minute later, in the 84th minute, scored Benfica's fourth goal off of Banjaki assist. It was a little bit of deflection, but I mean, this kid, if you guys don't know him, Anísio was the best scorer at the U17 World Cup in Qatar. I don't watch a lot of the B team. I don't know how much he's played for the B team. I know Banjaki plays quite a bit for the B team, but what we hear and look, I think that these are 17-year-old kids, right? So they still got quite a few steps to go through and some phases that they gotta go through. Let's not idolize them and let's not get mad of Jose Mourinho as to why they're not on the lineup every week, right? But yeah, it's 17 years old, has a knack for finishing, great head game that he has as well. And look, it's the future. It's not the future right now, but it's the future, 2-3 years down the road. I mean, he's 17. So just keep that in mind. But it's good to see these kids understand that there's a pathway for them, that there's a way to get into the main team. I remember when JJ was around, he said that some guys would have to be born 10 times in order to make the main squad, and it's good when these kids know that there's openings if they work hard and if they develop the right way and if they grow the right way, that there's opportunities there, that you don't have to be born 10 times rather to make this team. But certainly it was great to see the kids debut. I'm a fan of Priost. I've watched Priost for quite a bit. He's a mainstay on the B team. Banjaki, I'd seen Banjaki quite a bit as well. Anísio only from the World Cup, really. Haven't seen him anywhere else in the Benfica jersey. But certainly Dave, looking at these kids, it's much better to kind of keep an eye on them and then to give them the opportunities when you can give them the opportunities to grow and to evolve, than going buying lotteries for a lot of money and thinking that they're going to become something.
100%. And we still have the second half of the season to go, and I know you've kind of alluded it might not be all roses and the struggles. For as good as today and tonight's podcast is, there might be some struggles coming down the road here. But if we can mix in a couple of these young players when we can against some of these smaller clubs in Portugal, and give them some opportunity and see what they're made of, or if they can hang with the senior squad, I think that might be one of the positives to come out of this second half of the season here. But yeah, almost like a storybook finish with Anisiu getting subbed on, and that cross from Benjaki. It's just you can't write that. You can't make that shit up. But good for him. I know he hasn't actually played for the B team at all. He's been making most of his appearances this season for the under 19 team. 10 appearances, 4 goals for them. But like you said, his real coming out party was at the under 17 World Cup. 7 goals in 8 games for Portugal. So excited to see what both these young players can bring to the squad here.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's something that we got to be happy. And look, I think that when you look at most of the national teams and how many players they pull from each of the top 3, I think that Benfica is usually always in the majority. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, was it last year or 2 seasons ago that Benfica won across every age level? There were champions of Portugal in every age level. I forget what season that was. I don't know if it was like last season or if it was 2 seasons ago. But I remember. And look, if there's talent there that they could compete domestically with the other teams, it's good for the club. I just think that we need to manage them better. I think that we need to do a better job of keeping them, and especially the ones that are good talents, and not selling them, and take advantage of all the hard work that has been put into developing these kids, and the hard work that these kids put into to really serve and honor their jersey. I think that's extremely important. But Dave, stats.
Stats on this game. Like you said, Benjaki made his senior team starting 11 debut here, only 17 years old. Pavlidis with his league-leading 18th and 19th goal of the season. Sidney Cabral with a goal and an assist against his former club. And Anisiu Cabral scored on his senior team debut. He's the 4th youngest player to ever score for Benfica at 17 years, 7 months. He also scored Portugal's title-winning goal for the U17 World Cup this past December.
Yeah, that's right. So excellent job on by Anisiu, and really, I think that something I was discussing with somebody else was the fact that trying out these kids playing in front of tons of people, Stade de Luge, boyhood dreams. Sometimes the jersey's heavy, man. Sometimes the jersey's a little bit too heavy, and you don't emotionally. You don't have the fortitude to respond emotionally, and it's good that these kids were thrown out there. And I thought Benjaki was great. I thought he had a good game. And it's good when these kids are thrown out there and really don't feel the weight of the shirt. It's beautiful. So we'll see. More to come, I guess. All right. Turning our attention now to the big game the big game. Look, I think that we could all go through this, right? And I think it in an exercise of just for shits and giggles. I don't anyone on a chat think that we could have pulled this off. Dave, did you think we could pull this
I
off?
did not. I did not. I already said, like, when we were going through the scenarios that, like, 5 of the 7 outcomes had to hit, and we still needed to beat Real Madrid at home. I did not. I was not optimistic of getting a result or hitting all those positive results and qualifying through. I said on January 14th that we were out of all the competitions, and we're here on the 28th, still in the Champions League. So I like to eat crow once in a while, and the crow tastes good tonight.
Yeah, it's always good to eat some crow. But look,
you hit this. Diogo hit the parlay. Good for him.
He hit the parlay. It's bullshit. I just think that look, I think that there was just way too many. There was just way too many things that needed to come together. First of all, you had to beat a Madrid team who and you could look at, say, they've been inconsistent. They've had changes in coaching. They've had games here and games there. But really, I think that when you qualify within the first 8, right? There's 2 less games that's added to your schedule. The monetary prize, I think it's also bigger if you qualify in those first 8 spots, right? So there was things to play for here, and Real didn't really show up at Stade Luge with a B squad. I mean, there's guys that are usually on this team. So it was always going to be difficult to beat Real, just because I thought that Real still had a lot to play for and things to bring together, and to win a Champions League match is always good for the team, and working with a new coach and working on top of victories is always much better than working on poor performances. So certainly I thought that it was going to be hard. If Real had locked in the top 8 position, or a position within the top 8, then that would have been different. But understanding that they still had to win, and then understanding that if Benfica beat the Real, there was a few things that needed to come together. I mean, who saw that Bruges beating Marseille 3-0? And there was a combination of other results as well. I mean, Atletico Madrid losing to Bodo Glimt. I mean, these are games. When you talk about beating Real Madrid and then having a combination of things have to come together in order for you to advance, or to at least have a glimmer of hope, and then on top of it, you're in and out, and it was great, right? Because they had, anytime a team scored a goal, I think there was a graphic that came up, Dave, and I don't know if you noticed it, that would show the live standings, right? The first 24, so on and so forth. And then at some point, Benfica was there. Then they were no longer there. Then they were beating Real, and it was going to be sure, but we were short a goal. And then to have it go as it went, and I know that I'm repeating myself. I already said this at the top of the show, but I didn't have any hopes. And I do a TV show for the local Portuguese TV here, and I didn't have any hopes. And I told them I don't think Benfica could make this happen, because there's, despite could have won, right? Could win. There was a combination of results that needed to happen, and I just felt like too many things needed to come together and line up. So I didn't think that the team was going to pull it together. But like Dave said, I like to eat crow. But line up for this game: Truban was in goal, Dedic, Araújo, Otamendi, and Dal, Auschness, and Barreiro in the midfield, Prestiani, Sudakov, and Sheldrup, and then up top Pavlidis. So Mourinho did admit that he had given Dedic and Barreiro some rest. Against Estrela Amadora, so they could play against Real Madrid. And Dave, right from the get go, team was pressing high, was finding pockets of space. Team was understanding that those four up top for Real Madrid don't really come back to defend. So I think that the goal was here to recover the ball or to be able to stop the build-up or transition to get to the guys up top, to the four guys up top. Mbappe, was Vinny Jr., I forget what are the guys up there. I would have to take a look at the lineup. But that was the goal for Benfica. If we could press high, be able to recover, be able to force mismatches, or to be able to force turnovers, and kind of choke those three guys, four guys up front, then we'll be in a much better position to really turn things around. And again, I mean, watching this game, that's what Benfica did, turning the ball over, going to Real. But again, Dave, I mean, missing goals, easy goals. And I just felt, I mean, there it is. I mean, and even watching this game, right, you think you miss, and then Real's going to have an opportunity, and boom. And there it was. What'd you think of the first half?
That's exactly how I saw it. You know, before Mbappe's goal there, Benfica could have easily been up 3-0, and that's not even an exaggeration. There were just so many opportunity, and whether it just be poor finishing or hitting the side of the net or hitting it off target, it was one of those nights, and especially in that first half where I thought to myself, you know, we're creating these opportunities but not putting them away. It's going to come back to bite us in the ass. And sure enough, Mbappe at the 30th minute, really Madrid's first or second chance of the game, and they capitalized. But we've seen this story play out time and time again this season. It's just like, when we do have opportunities, the team just hasn't been able to capitalize on them. But credit to the team here, they just got back on their horse and they kept pushing forward to go and get that result. It would have been really easy after that Mbappe goal to head down and just be down for the rest of the half, trying to sulk over what could have been, right? But the team got up and they really brought it back, the game to Madrid there, and we get the 2 goals before the end of the first half to really that was a just result going into halftime, being at least up on the minimum to Real Madrid, when it could have been so much more.
Yeah, and I thought, you know, and Carlos makes a great point. It looked like the Juve game had redundancy. Yeah, and that's what I thought exactly. Right. I think that the good playing, and obviously best first half and probably best game that we've seen Benfica play all season. Right, but creating chances, not putting them away, and then suffering on basically almost the first time that Real Madrid came down, that could have spelled disaster. That could have told the team, okay, well, we're done. We're throwing everything at them, obviously. We're not able to convert. And they just came down just that easy. And I really felt that could have been something very detrimental to the team, the way they allowed that goal. But the team stayed focused. They stayed focused. They kept their course. They went at it. We were able to get the equalizer 5 minutes later. Sheldrup off of Pavlidis' assist, and you know, good score by Sheldrup. We had the one opportunity by Prestiani, which he's trying to banana the ball past Courtois, and Courtois goes and does a great save. but yeah, we stayed the course. I think the team believed in what they were doing in the game they were playing. We got the equalizer, and then before the half, Pavlidis on a PK, which was a clear PK on Otamendi, and Pavlidis put us ahead, and really in a good shape to go into the second half. And I'm sure that in the locker room, Jose Mourinho said, "Guys, you're running this game to the game plan to a T. Keep doing what you're doing." And I think that's what they did. Team came out in the second half, um, and it was just good. I think that the team was believing in themselves. The fans were behind the team, and things were working, and they really saw how they were able to kind of get into Real's half and create chances. And then the second half, we go up 3-1, shell drop off of a Pavlidis assist as well, 3-1. And yeah, I think they give us a little bit more comfort in terms of the score line, and in terms of the margin for error. Did you think that we were home safe at 3-1, Dave?
I didn't even have time to think because again, that Mbappe goal, Mbappe, one of the best, you can make the argument, top 5 players in the world right now. And he's just left all alone in the box to just one time the ball past Trubin. It's like I didn't even have time to start doing my calculations and seeing if that would be a result to put us through when we concede not much longer after Sheldroop's second goal. But somebody dropped the assignment there, because you can't just leave an Mbappe alone in the box to take a uncontested shot like that.
Yeah, yeah. And Joaquin Gomes is saying this team is mentally strong. Should Mourinho get any credit for it? I think. Look, there's been an improvement in mental strength on this team. Obviously, when we're talking about mental strength and not being fragile in the way you think, right? Mental fortitude. If you have mental fortitude, you're not giving up goals in the last minutes of a half against Minnows at home. I think that there was a stage where the team didn't feel that safe and secure and confident. And I think that Jose Mourinho has little by little added some of that confidence into this team. And I think that you're right. This team is stronger than they were. But there was times during the season, and I think that a lot of the inconsistency that we have seen speaks a lot of, just the ups and downs that this team has gone throughout the season. But yeah, Fab's the same. Barreiro and Auschwitz were both on Bellingham, really poor comms between them. And he was talking about the goal from Mbappe. But I thought the Barreiro and Auschwitz were excellent all game, especially Auschwitz. Auschwitz seemed to be everywhere. Somebody was saying earlier in the comments that we found out that Auschwitz is probably our best box to box, and I don't doubt it. I don't think that. I think that there's a lot of work that Auschwitz does that it goes unnoticed because it's off the ball, and the way that he balances the team, the way he covers ground, the way he offers support, the little touches sometimes, the little movements. I think that there's a lot of people that don't see that on TV, and I think you really get to get an idea for that on the when you're at the stadium. I know that Carlos is a huge fan of Auschwitz, and when Chris is shitting on them or anybody is shitting on Auschwitz, I think Carlos is one of the first ones to come on the chat and defend them. And I agree. He's a utility guy. He's a hard worker. And he's a guy that a lot of people don't give the credit that that it's due to Auschwitz off the ball, without the ball on his feet. And a lot of times people look at Auschwitz and say, "Oh, fuck, he had that one opportunity today and he missed it, or he missed a pass here, or he missed a shot here, or shots were too weak." But the amount of work, intelligent work, that he does off the ball, and I could say this comfortably because Chris is not here, so I'm not afraid that Chris is going to interrupt me and talk shit, right? But the amount of work that this guy does, the instincts, the football IQ that Auschwitz has, that he's able to balance the teams, is just something it's not tangible at times, and you can't measure by successful passes and dribbles completed and whatnot. But it's something that's very important to keep the team balanced and to keep the team in a good shape, that they're not being exposed. And Carlos is right. He is, and his most underappreciated skill is his availability. Yeah, I think that his work off the ball and the work without the ball is he's by far the best Benfica player when it comes to that. And then, as Carlos mentions, being healthy is the most overlooked skill in a professional sports, and Auschwitz is a guy that doesn't get hurt a lot.
And you know what? We're not paying him the big bucks to go in and score goals, because I know, like, I'll speak for myself. I get frustrated too when he's right there at the net and he just needs to get a foot on it or put some power behind a ball, and those shots never seem to get past through any keeper. And like you said, we had another one of those examples today. But really, when we signed him and when he's most effective, it's not to be right in front of the net. He's good distributor of the ball, and he thinks the game really well. So
yeah, and it's
for every
something,
missed opportunity, there's
yeah, absolutely. And I'm not saying that he doesn't have bad games. And I think that a lot of times that they look at him and he's had bad games because there was a pass that didn't come out, there was a shot that he missed, there was a shot that he didn't take. And oftentimes it's easy to grab those things, because those things are tangible things that you could measure and you could look at on your TV. But the amount of other things that happen with Auschwitz is unreal. And unless you're at Stade de Luge, you'll never be able to tell that. So if you're ever at Stade de Luge, take a minute just to good 5-10 minutes, just see what Auschwitz is doing on the field away from the cameras, and you'll understand the importance that he has to this team. Yeah, so 54th minute 3-1, as I was saying, 58th minute 3-2, and then at the time, still a good hour, a good 30 minutes left in a game. I felt, I hope that the team doesn't lose their endurance, because pressing high and the way we were pressing, and then it wasn't only the pressing, but I think defending. You look at the shape of this team defending, and I always felt that the team was balanced against. Very rarely were they out of balance. They're compact when they needed to be compact, behind the ball when they needed to be behind the ball, and it was good. And then let's see, 83rd minute, Bernard and Shea came in for Sudakov, and also in an effort to kind of hold things down in the midfield. Rego came in for Prestiani. Then 90 plus Antonio Silva. This is already at a time that we were kind of trying to hold on to the result, right? And then needing one goal. That was that one play that Ivanovic, I can't even remember. Ivanovic was on a run and Trubin didn't hit him. And I felt that was going to be it.
Not only did Trubin not hit him, he decided to take some time, check out what's going on. He was really taking his slow time too. And like I said, I was not Trubin's biggest supporter at that time. I thought it was a very low IQ point in the match for him, but not just him. From the whole technical staff, if we don't get that goal, like that miracle goal, whatever you want to call it, we're having discussions here tonight about why is Mourinho bringing on a second defender when we need to go and get that goal. I know he came out after and said that he thought that the result would have been enough to get them through, and then he found out that they needed to get one more goal. But in this day and age where everybody's connected to cell phones and internet, and how could have been a major blunder that we're setting up shop to get the 3-2 result, but we never at that point. I was confused. Did Mourinho knew something that we didn't know? Because they kept on showing those updated flash results on the side, like you said, in the top 24, and we were
Somebody
never
has to know, Dave.
We were never in that top 24 for between like after the 72nd minute. We were not in a position to qualify, but he's taking off attacking players, bringing on Antonio Silva and Ivanovic for Pavlidis. Okay, it's like for like, but that could have really ended in a disaster there if we didn't get that goal, and especially with Trubin trying to slow down the game too. Like I think that could have. I don't know where the miscommunication was, but I find that hard to believe in this day and age that we didn't have somebody on the technical staff keeping a track of the score and the results.
We had to, and Trubin says that I think it was Araújo was giving him 1-1-1 to hurry up, and he got whistled, and then this happened. I know I already played this at the top of the show, but I can never get enough of this.
The fault.
Right? It's not playing.
O Trubin pede autorização para subir. A luz está em ebulição. Vamos ver. É agora ou nunca. É o Benfica a tentar marcar nos instantes finais. Acredita o Benfica.
Real com -2.
Aí está o Trubin também a subir. Benfica 3, Real Madrid 2. A bola vai ser lançada. A luz está pronta para explodir. O árbitro David Massa vai apitar. Alves vai bater o livre. Ele vai. Levantou. Na área, cabeceamento. Gol! Trubin! São Trubin! Padre Nuestro! Trubin! Que loucura! É por isto que o futebol é tão espetacular! É gol do Benfica! Alá, Benfica!
Acabou o jogo, já acabou.
Alá, Benfica!
Yep. Those were the scenes, man. Those were the scenes. And I got to be honest, I got a little bit emotional, Dave. I got a little bit emotional as I was watching the game and that went down. Especially because there was frustration in me that could have been the one with Ivanovic, would have been the one chance that we would have been able to get behind the defense and really sneak up on. But it's like, it's a fairy tale ending. He already had done something like that against Porto, and he came very close against Porto, and now there it was. And I think watching the images of him scoring and then running to the midfield and the whole team chasing him
and sliding on his knees, like,
and then
such
going
an
on sliding
photo.
on his knees. I mean, give me that photo, man. That's fucking awesome. That was awesome.
Not too many nights like this, like I said, Alfredo,
No.
but
Epic.
when they happen, you got to live through them, appreciate them.
Absolutely.
I was driving home watching the game, and Briefly lost my voice just screaming at the top of my lungs after that goal and that result. So
Yeah.
and it's one of the positive times because now all these major North American sports outlets are posting clips of it, and it'll probably be on ESPN's top 10 tonight.
Oh yeah.
It's so one of the positive moments where Benfica's on the positive side of the sporting news here. Usually it's some blunder or us getting thumped, but feels good to be a supporter of Benfica here tonight.
Yeah. I got to be honest, and I know that that many Valadão is saying I'm Benfiquista enough to admit that I cried with a goal of pride. I didn't cry, but my eyes did well up. And if I cried, I wouldn't have been ashamed to admit it.
You haven't cried since Darwin.
You guys would never let me live that one down. The one time that Darwin scored. I had a soft spot for Darwin. You guys know that. But it was Diogo Reis saying it's already in on TSN. Fabs is saying Puskas nomination. I don't know. It could very well be Puskas nomination. Yeah. It was a great night, man, and I'm so happy that I was able to witness that live and have those emotions come through me for all the frustration that we've been having these past months, and Benfica going out of every competition. And yeah, that was something that I will hold on to that one for a bit. I will hold on to that one for a bit for sure. But it was great, man. As every Benfiquista in the land, everywhere, should be happy and proud to be a Benfiquista. That would beat Real. Dave, we finished up 24th, just by the skin of
no
skin
higher,
of
no
teeth.
lower.
No higher, no lower.
One goal difference. I mean, as bad as we started off the campaign, the Champions League campaign, there were never really any big blowout defeats. It was always outside of the Newcastle game where I believe we lost 3-0. All the games usually came down to one goal, and really that's, I guess, at the end of the day, what saved us. We were bad, but not that bad because we got through on goal difference at the end of the day. So things to be positive about this Champions League campaign. When it looked darkest of dark, there was, I guess, some light at the end of the tunnel for those who chose to look for light, and we get the nights like we did tonight.
Yeah, Diogo Reis is asking, are we selling Sheldrup this window? Certainly, there's been talks about Sheldrup going over to Italy, and at the very last that I've read was Club Bruges was in it as well. So I don't know. I think that we've now seen 3 coaches that Sheldrup has played under. So Roger Schmidt, Brunelage, Mourinho, and he just can't seem to break into the starting 11 with regularity. And I think the one thing that we've always pointed out to Sheldrup, there's no doubt in my mind that the technical ability is there, right? Very technical, very, very talented. But he lacks intensity. To me, that's the one thing that I think we can point to him. I don't know how he works out in training. That could be a big thing too. Yeah, but I don't know.
It depends. Like who was it? Somebody said it in in Sheldrup's post-match interview. It sounded like he was gone, but then Mourinho was asked the same thing in his post-match interview, and he was trying to make the argument if he's not going to a bigger club than Benfica and he's trying to crack the Norwegian team's World Cup squad, is that in his best interest, right? So he's putting that kind of spin on it, but you never know. There's still a couple of days left here in the market. It seems like that winger's position has now been saturated, where we were looking for wingers. Now we got wingers coming left, right, and center. So
Yeah,
we'll
I
see what
want to.
happens.
I want to mention a comment here by Joaquin Gomes that he mentioned that he says, "I'm a social worker working on the mental health field, and today I made an Iranian client that suffers from schizophrenia watch the game with me." Man, that could have gone very wrong.
I was gonna say, lucky.
Could have gone very, very wrong. Very, very wrong. But I'm glad, man, and cheers to you, man. That's real work, man. That's real work to help other human beings, man. That's wonderful, man. That's great. Kudos. Dave, stats. I think the last time Benfica played the Real Madrid in the Champions League was what, 64-65 season? Is that correct?
I don't have those stats from that far back, but I can take a look.
What stats do you have?
But I got Sheldrup's first brace for in his Benfica career. Trubin is the only keeper in Benfica's history to ever have scored a goal. That's crazy when you think about a club that's over 112 years old. Trubin, the first keeper to have ever scored, and he's only the 7th keeper in Champions League history to have ever scored as well. So
yeah,
just nice.
First goal of the season.
First goal of the season. I saw somebody else mention in the chat that he has the same amount of goals as Vinicius Junior does in the Champions League campaign as well. So, and then we'll play the winner of either, or actually not the winner. We'll see who we play.
That's already been
no. It's the draw is, I believe, on Friday. Either Real Madrid again or Inter.
Really?
Inter Milan. Yeah.
Oh, those are the two possibilities, Dave.
Those are the two possibilities, and
because we get the 9th seed, right?
Yeah, the 9th or the 10th seed.
Either
it's not straight. So it's either 9, 10 will play either 23 or 24. So they'll do the draw. So it's either between us and Bodo Glimt. They'll do the draw to see if we play Real Madrid or Inter, and then vice versa. Whoever doesn't play Madrid will get Bodo Glimt, or vice versa. That's how the draws work. So it's this stage.
Yeah, there's a bunch of Carlos is asking how did they figure that out. There's a couple conditions that go into play when figuring that out. It's not as simple as saying the 9th seed plays the 24th seed, the 10th seed plays the 23rd. It's not as simple as that. There's a few conditions because of it's definitely two leg matches, as many Validon was mentioning. There's two conditions because of teams in the same country. I mean, there's quite a few conditions.
They don't actually hold up the countries in this round. And Fabs is also saying if the draw breaks out, we do have a chance of Sporting in the round of 16 as well. They'll be one of the opponents that we could possibly face, depending on how the draw breaks down. Given that Sporting qualified in one of the top 8 positions, that we could possibly be facing them if we get through Real Madrid or Inter in the next round, and that would be scenes if we face Sporting.
Yeah. What are the stats, Dave? Was that it?
That was it.
Yeah. Let me just take this opportunity to say goodbye to our friends at Pama Media. Thank you for listening to us. If you want to continue listening to us, please listen to our podcast where all you could find podcast in all the aggregators and stuff. All right. Next up, we have and great. I think great win, and I'd love to continue talking about it all night, but let's just leave it at that, and hopefully, I don't know, either one. I think that this was our Champions League. So, but we'll see. I think that on a two-legged affair now, and the team showing signs of confidence and playing in Europe and mental fortitude, who knows? But Dave, we got Tondela up next. Game takes place on Sunday at 3:30 here in the United States. So 8:30, 8:30 local time up in Tondela. It's been raining quite a bit in Portugal, all over Portugal. So I don't know what next week is in store, or next few days are in store up in
We'll
Tondela.
have to send our pitch master to go inspect the pitch.
Our man on the scene, Chris, used to do some scouting, but I don't think he's going to be able to do that this time around. But yeah, I'm curious to see how those pitches up north have been holding up with all the rain and this weather that's coming up. But Dave, what's Tondela up to?
Tondela this season are towards the bottom of the league standings here in 17th with 12 points through 19 matches. With 3 wins, 3 draws, 13 defeats. Coming into this match, losing 6 of their last 7. Historically, we've got 14 wins, 1 draw, and 1 defeat in our previous 16 meetings, and we've already faced them twice this season. Once for the league, and another for the Taça da Liga. Both times a 3-0 victory result.
Yeah. So, so we got Tondela, and the biggest thing is, look, I know that we're far away from Porto, so I think our aspirations to the title are very, very low percentage that we're able to get the title. But I think the most important thing is to get back to the Champions League next season, and with the difference of 3 points to Sporting and still head-to-head to play, I think that's very, very much attainable, provided that the team can be consistent and continue to show up. Obviously, after extremely emotional game this Wednesday against Real Madrid, now you got to go up to Tondela and play Tondela, right? And these are the games that where Mourinho needs to motivate the team. These are the games that the team needs to refocus and get back on task. And we can't forget that's still an objective. I think the Champions League is what it is right now, and any given day, depending on the team that we're playing, if we play like we do, and provided that maybe we could go get somebody that could put away goals, that could be more efficient, maybe we're in the running for something. You never know. But either Inter or Real Madrid will be tough. But the biggest thing right now ahead of us is Tondela, and you got to beat Tondela to continue to fight for that second place. Rafa was confirmed as we mentioned last week, right? He played a little bit against Estrela Amadora. I don't know how long it's going to take Rafa to be in game shape where he could offer his help, but certainly Cabral has shown that he could do things on that left wing. I don't think Mourinho's too confident yet that he could play left back. Defensively, still missing quite a bit of skills. And then you also got Bruno who's come back, and then you got Rafa. So I mean, we'll see. But I think the most important thing is that we stay focused in what we need to do domestically. Because when does the Champions League return now? Do you know, Dave?
If I'm not mistaken, it's the week of the 15th, 16th. Might be
okay. So that's not too far.
It's not too far.
That's not too far.
After Tondela, we have a full week's break there, which is good. Something we haven't had since before the Christmas break here. But yeah, then it's going to be coming fast and furious again. We got 2 games or games every four matches.
Many
here.
Villadão is saying 23rd, 23rd,
23rd,
23rd of February.
Yeah, and you was around there. So
Yeah. February 14th, Valentine's Day. 17th, 18th. It's all over the place. It's coming. It's coming.
The first leg will be the 16th, and then the second leg will be the following week.
All right. Guys, I can't tell you how big of a pleasure it was to come on tonight and do this podcast, and appreciate everyone that's came on live in the chat and join us, and the ones that are going to listen to us later, and certainly an epic night for Benfica, and a magical, if you will, week for Benfica between the two young kids debuting, one of them scoring a goal and living out fantasy, and then magic with Real Madrid. Certainly, it was good. It was a good week to be a Benfiquista. I know that Sergio Rodrigues já foste always likes to put that ice cube. Today was a good day. Ice Cube meme with Ice Cube with the Benfica jersey. Yeah, it was a good day. Thanks everyone. We'll see you next week. Take care.